District officials with Bennington Schools hope the second time is a charm.
A year ago, voters rejected a $150 million school bond. Brian Mastry is on your side with how this plan is different.
Bennington is a school district of 4,200 students. If nothing changes and the district continues its historic growth, 4 years from now, its only high school will be packed.
And under that scenario, we'd be about 315 students over capacity.
Bennington, one of the fastest growing school districts in the state, is a bedroom community northwest of Omaha. Homeowners pay an unusually disproportionate share of property taxes since there's very little industry here to make up the difference. Homeowners make up 91% of valuations. Business, 4%. This time, school officials asked for a smaller bond, with the key component to build a new high school at 180th and Military.
The cost is down quite a bit, and so 15%. So the total cost is down 15%. The bond issue on the previous one was $153 million. As it stands today, we have it at $119 million.
Surveys are going out now to taxpayers to get more feedback on the school bond plan. Board will decide in December whether to move forward, and if they do, voting would be in March.
We just went through with a fine-tooth comb through the whole project to figure out what was a need, and then we tried to push the need forward.
One thing is clear: the students keep coming to the district. On your side in Bennington, Brian Mastry, 6